Hi, this is Evie from the JP2 Legacy, and today's water science question of the day is, what is bathymetry? Do you know? Find out at the end of this video.
I'm Michaela New. I work at the Mississippi Watershed Management Organization, and I do youth and community outreach. We talk to people about the value of water and help people learn actions they can take to keep water clean. A watershed is an area of land that drains to a particular body of water. If you imagine a funnel, any water that falls within that funnel is going to drain to one particular spot. That's how watersheds work. The watershed that we manage at the Mississippi Watershed Management Organization is a very urban watershed that encompasses a large section of the Mississippi River as it runs through Minneapolis. Because it's the winter season right now, a main source of pollution is road salts. We see high chloride levels in our fresh water, which could be dangerous to aquatic species, and that is a significant issue that we are facing right now. In the summertime, we see a lot of people using fertilizers on their lawns or leaving natural materials like grass clippings and leaves on their hard surfaces like driveways and streets. All of those add excess nutrients to our waterways, which can be a source of pollution. In the winter, we can limit our use of road salts, especially on our own properties, and the first solution is always to shovel and chip away the ice by hand so that you can avoid using any source of salt. In the summer, we can do a lot of things to limit the amount of excess nutrients going into our storm drains, and a lot of it can be done by sweeping up and picking up leaves and grass clippings. Green infrastructure is anything that's installed in your urban area that provides ecosystem services such as green space, things that help with clean water, habitat for local species, on and on. It helps with stormwater in particular because often green infrastructure are areas that we can divert stormwater to, so you're limiting that stormwater from going directly into a local water body. Then that green infrastructure does a lot to filter and clean up that water. Slowing the flow of polluted water is very important because first, water is very powerful. So when we have a lot of water going to one particular water body, it can cause a lot of damage just by its erosive forces. But with all of that water, it's also bringing a lot of pollutants. And so you want to limit the amount of water you're sending to our local water bodies so that you're also limiting pollution. You will also then mitigate any chances of flooding. In a city, we have a lot of hard surfaces installed, everything from our rooftops, our sidewalks, driveways, and streets. Anytime rain or snow melt runs off of those surfaces, it goes into a storm drain. That storm drain is connected to a network of tunnels, storm sewers, that bring that water directly to a local water body, untreated, meaning any pollution that water might pick up on its way to the storm drain goes directly to the river without being cleaned up. And that can cause a lot of issues with unhealthy waters for the local ecosystem and for ourselves. Related to water, you could be an environmental engineer, you could be an environmental scientist and do water quality monitoring. You could be an urban planner and think about green infrastructure you might be able to install for clean water. You could be an outreach and educator to talk to people about clean water. Those are just a few off the top of my head.
I got a degree, my major was in environmental science with minors in chemistry and economics. We'll take the boat, drive up to the tunnel with the boat, and then climb into the tunnel right from the river. Measure water temperature, water conductivity, dissolved oxygen that's in the water, and that sensor measures pH. So we can put this in the river, or in stormwater runoff, or in a pond, any water, and find out the temperature of the water, how much dissolved oxygen is in the water, specific conductivity, those things I just talked about, pH. We can program this to collect samples automatically. We can connect a sensor like this to the controller on top. And we put that in a storm tunnel underground, and we can measure how deep the water is that's flowing through the tunnel and how fast it's moving. So it's a level and velocity sensor. And then the controller can calculate the flow, the amount of water that's flowing through the tunnel. And you can also have it pump water, and the water would come up from the storm tunnel, go through the pump, and then go down into the sampler. And this sampler is set up with 24 1-liter bottles.
Whoa!
Wow.
So you can take that many different samples. You can change all the parameters and set it up just the way you want it. It's called the distributor arm. So if I want to move it to bottle 24, that's how it fills up each one of these bottles.
What is bathymetry? Did you figure it out? Bathymetry is the study of underwater terrain. Thank you for watching this video and keep on learning water science.